This presentation discusses the importance and need of educated and informed school social workers to advocate for LGBTQ+ youth. LGBTQ+ youth are an underserved and at-risk population. Statistics show that LGBTQ+ students are at a higher risk for mental health issues, addiction, STDs, homelessness, human trafficking, exploitation, physical violence, and suicide. Those in this population face many barriers and are in need of support, advocacy, and resources on many levels. How can school social workers be a voice for the voiceless and use this platform to educate administrators, staff, students, and the community? So what does LGBTQ mean, you ask? Besides being a mouthful, it's an acronym for lesbian, gay, queer, or questioning. These terms are used to describe a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Take a moment to go over these terms to see how many that you know. According to this 2017 National School Climate Survey, almost 90% of LGBTQ students experience harassment or assault based on personal characteristics, including sexual orientation, gender expression, religion, gender, actual or perceived race and ethnicity, and actual or perceived disability. Nearly 2/3 reported experiencing LGBTQ-related discriminatory policies or practices from their schools. There are many risk factors that youth in this population face that school social workers and staff need to be aware of when working with them. LGBTQ youth experience bullying on a large scale. The statistics here are heartbreaking and indicate a desperate need for school social workers to educate all students, teachers, and staff. Homelessness is a huge issue with LGBTQ youth. These young adults had a 120% higher risk of homelessness compared to youth who identify as heterosexual and cisgender. Estimates show that LGBTQ youth comprise up to 40% of the homeless youth population, even though they make up 5 to 10% of the overall youth population. LGBTQ youth are disproportionately entering the school-to-prison pipeline, a pathway to repeated encounters with the criminal justice system. This is especially true for youth of color. This situation is caused by a number of interrelated factors, most of which are linked to stigma and discrimination. Some of these factors include family rejection, instability and poverty, zero-tolerance policies within schools, and the targeting and disciplining of LGBTQ students, and an increase in policy presence in schools. The Don't Say Gay bill prohibits discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in the state's public schools in kindergarten through 3rd grade. It also allows parents to sue school districts that expose their children to material that is perceived to be not age appropriate. The roles of a school social worker are many. School social workers provide support to LGBTQ students to support academic achievement and social and emotional development. They commit to the affirmation of all youth, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression, and work to create safe and affirming schools. Teachers and administrators also have a huge role and responsibility to this population. There is much progress to be made to create inclusive and safe spaces for our children at schools. Violence and hate in our school systems is on the rise, and the destruction that ignorance and neglect is causing must be addressed in new and powerful ways in order to make real change. An increase in education, funding, and legislation to support minorities and LGBTQ+ youth is long overdue. As a school social worker, you have an incredible opportunity to be a voice for those who have not been given one. Thank you for your attention during this presentation. Here are some valuable resources for LGBTQ+ youth and those who are working closely with this population.